Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a nice Thursday so far. And thank you for joining us. We're just going to wait a couple minutes as more people start to file in, but we appreciate you all joining us and hope you find this demo um, very interesting and hope you learned something. And feel free to throw any questions that you have in the question tab or the chat. All righty. I think we are going to get started here. First, I would like to introduce our fantastic presenters. We have Mr. Joe Mastermarino, as well as Shravan Ravi. They'll be able to walk you through the demo and answer any questions that you may plop in the chat. Again, as you can see, our topic for today is Kibana meters and gauges and measuring security control performance with AttackIQ. And with that, I will hand it over to the stars of the show, Joe and Shravan. Take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Nick. And thank you all for joining us here today. That's a whole lot of words up on that title here, and we're going to make this exciting still. I am absolutely a data guy, and Shravan is absolutely a data guy, and we're going to make this stuff real for you and show you what you can really do with this. So as a quick way of introduction, my name is Joe Mastermarino. I am a Director of Sales Engineering here at AttackIQ. I've been here for about 2.5 years-ish or so, and roughly 20 years in the industry. So I've done lots of stuff here, other places. I've been on the other side of the desk as well, being an analyst in many different places as well. So I will also let my buddy Shravan here, who I'm really happy was able to join us here today. Shravan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Joe. Hello, folks. My name is Shravan Ravi. I'm working as a security data scientist at AttackIQ, and my background has primarily been in data science in cybersecurity. So I feel like I'm in a good position to be able to talk about the data science side of things, but as well as keeping the entire conversations related to a security standpoint. And I'm very looking forward to sharing some of my insights here with you folks. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Shravan. And now, as give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about here today, we're going to talk about the origin of this. Why did we implement Kibana? How did we do this into AttackIQ? What benefits you get from using Kibana in AttackIQ, so the what and then the why. I'm going to show you the how too, because we're going to do a live demo in AttackIQ visualizing some control performance data with Kibana. And then give you a little call to action, where are we going with this, and some other resources that you can use after you finish here today. So to go through the how and the why we implemented Kibana into AttackIQ, I'm going to turn it over to Shravan to talk about these points over here. So Shravan, if you would please be so kind as to walk us through this here.
Yeah, sure, Joe. Thank you. So one of the things before we actually get started on this is really to understand the need to have a comprehensive reporting and dashboarding solution. So when you are working with a product, with any security product, but especially with AttackIQ, you're running multiple assessments across tons of different test points. And at the end of the day, your results are only as good as the actions that they produce. So for you to be able to really get a comprehensive understanding of your results in terms of what deficiencies they point to in your environment, or what strengths they point to really get a good understanding of that, it has always been kind of proven that a visual way of representing the insights is a very good way to get started. Now, you might definitely want to go more detailed, you might want to go more granular into the data, and that definitely can be done. But a good starting point is always to have a good way of visualizing your findings. And that's the reason we really wanted to go with some sort of a proper centralized logging solution, which lets us view these results in a neat and clear visual manner. So one of the real advantages that we got was in terms of having real-time data analytics and visualization. So all the data that we have within Kibana is real-time. The moment the results get generated in your platform, they get ingested into Kibana, and you'll be able to see you'll be able to see the results populating in the dashboards almost instantaneously. You also have all these charts are interactive. So in the sense, you can click on every portion of every visualization. It's not a static image that you're looking at. It lets you interact with the visualizations and really get to understand what's happening with the data. And one of the other feedback that we've received from a lot of our customers is the ease of use. They're able to create dashboards on the fly. They're able to share their dashboards. They're able to aggregate and filter data based on a lot of the pre-built filters. So overall, we just felt that Kibana seems to be a really good dashboarding solution, not only to let us showcase the results to the customers, but also for the end users to be able to actually gain control of their own data without having to rely on a BI analyst or someone else to make these visualizations for them. Could you go to the next slide, Joe? Now, in terms of what can you actually get from Kibana? Now, Joe will definitely walk you through a proper demo in terms of looking at some of these dashboards within the platform. But just to kind of give you a flavor of the kind of results that you can see, if you have a look at the screen, you see a few different flavors of the kinds of visualizations that are present. For example, you can see different kinds of pie charts or bar graphs or things like that, which are definitely very useful. But you also have things like heat maps, more advanced visualizations. And heat maps, for example, are a very powerful way to visualize complex data. And it's one of the really good things about heat map is at a glance, you can identify if there are any outliers or anomalies in your data. And again, in this particular instance, we're looking at how different security control technologies have fared over the past few weeks. Now, again, I should mention this is demo data, so please keep that in mind. But again, the idea is you can get an instant insight into your data by just having a single glance at it. Similarly, let's say you run tests across a variety of different test points, but at the end of the day, if you really need to know, okay, among all these hundreds of test points in my environment, which are the ones I really need to be focusing on? Are there some critical test points I need to focus on? Are there some test points that are getting errored out and that's causing them to be inactive? All these things which might not be pretty straightforward to get from the platform directly, it's very easy to get here via the dashboard. Next slide, please. Now, all of the AttackIQ content is tied to the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and AttackIQ have been founding partners with MITRE seated as well. So all the content that we have, we try to provide a MITRE ATT&CK view for this. What you can see here is, well, not only do we provide the list of MITRE tactics that you really need to focus on in terms of your past results, but we also provide a granular view into each of these tactics. And if you see, we even have details into which of these techniques within each of the tactics has caused a particular scenario to get prevented or detected. And so as you see some of the other dashboards, either within the during the demo or later, you'll see that you can go really granular. You can also keep it high level, but if you really need to, you can go very granular into the data. Next slide, please. One other flavor that I wanted to point out are trend lines. Now, trend lines or time-based visualizations. As a data scientist, I particularly like them because they are crucial in understanding data over periods of time. So in terms of understanding patterns or understanding the impact of the security optimization that you're doing over time, you can perform some sort of forecasting based on historical data. And one of the feedback that we hear from customer, if you look at the first graph here, you not only see you do see trend lines depicting the prevented and detected scenario runs or the non-prevented and non-detected runs, which is very good. But you also see the total number of runs, which lets you know if is your team running these tests regularly. It lets you know the testing frequency, and overall, you would like to see a lot of these trend lines go in the positive direction as time moves on. So if you do not see that, that's an instant red flag, and that lets you know that either testing is not being done or there's some errors in the environment that are causing this. But at a glance, you really get to know what's going on within the environment. And as we go on to the rest of the presentation, you'll get to see this within the platform and really see how all this comes together. Thank you, Joe. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Shravan. I appreciate all that background. And yes, we're absolutely going to hit on those things and more in the demonstration. To quickly give you an idea of what we offer here at AttackIQ, because just talking a whole lot about what it is the data will provide you, but what it is that we're doing here, we have a series of different offerings. The three main offerings that we have, starting with what you can do, really you can do this right now, is we have an offering called Flex, which is an agentless test as a service. What this does is it takes a series of different types of packages. Think I want to test out my EDR, or I want to test out my firewall, or I want to see how well my controls would perform against insert name of threat actor or a piece of ransomware here. It's a quick and easy way for companies of any size to be able to get into testing with really nothing to install. You just download what you need, run it, and then get the reports back from the platform after you submit them for analysis. You can be up and running inside of minutes. The next offering there would be then to place a service on top of that. So what we do is we also offer another service, which is called Ready. And let's take a lot of the same concepts that we were just doing here, install a piece of software onto one or two machines, and then let us do all of the testing for you. You don't have to pick out any of those packages or do any of that. We'll do all of that work for you, and then send that report back to you on a regular basis so you can see how well you're performing over time. Just really focus on the outputs. And then what we're putting a lot of focus on here in today's conversation and today's demonstration is the enterprise platform. That is our most feature-rich and customizable platform. Using that, you can run those tests anytime you like on demand, run them as many times as you want on the machines that you've chosen to run those on. And then you'll get back that data. You can view it in the platform, and just like we're talking about here today, you can view that data in using Kibana as your tool set for visualizing dashboards and deeper dives into the data that you have. So that's where we'll be placing our focus today, is on the enterprise platform. So I'm going to get over into that. I'm just going to pause my screen for just a moment while I shift over from my presentation mode over to my demonstration mode. So let's go ahead and do that and replay that again. Okay, good. I'm showing my platform now. Once you log into the AttackIQ Enterprise platform, you get all of the information that you need right up front. So to give you an idea of how this is working, if you haven't seen it before, these assets that I have down here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, these all represents the machines that I have the agent, the test point software installed on right now. I have these, and you can see these kind of what's new and these recently updated templates, especially this recently updated templates up here represents a series of what we call assessments. Think of a use case that you could pull right off the shelf and run on one or more of these assets. Maybe I want to emulate a piece of ransomware or malware, or emulate a threat actor group campaign, or run a series of tests against one of my controls like Cisco Firepower or an EDR like CrowdStrike or Sentinel-1, just to pick a few. They would all run against those assets and you get back your results, your prevention, what did you stop, your detections, what did you see. Anytime you want to get things from the platform and you want to take a walk around and see what you can do and you review the results, you're usually going to wind up going to this menu button in the upper left-hand corner. And in this case, we're going to go over to our dashboard section. And when I click on that, you might see it might look familiar to you, this elastic icon showing you that, yes, we're using an elastic backend and we're using Kibana for the data visualizations. By default, you will have a number of these dashboards available to you out of the box. I'll focus on one of these core dashboards. It's speaking especially to what Shravan was talking about earlier. And we can take a look at the MITRE ATT&CK dashboard, for instance. This one dives pretty deeply into that MITRE ATT&CK use case that we were just talking about. And what we're looking at is data over the last 90 days inside of my environment here in the upper right-hand corner. I'm now showing, in this case, my prevention status breakdown. So from the agent's perspective, from the test point's perspective, what did you stop over the scenarios that you ran? There's over 4,000 scenarios in the platform today, and they're being mapped back to tactics like initial access, execution, persistence, privilege escalation, all of the tactics and as many of the techniques and even the sub-techniques that we possibly can. So for all of these scenarios that run, that data gets tagged, logged, and then put back here so we can report on it. So I can see when I'm taking a look at, for instance, privilege escalation. If I want to focus on the privilege escalation that wasn't prevented, this is what Shravan was talking about before. I can click on and interact with this data. So now show me all of the scenarios after I clicked on that where I see that one was not prevented. Now show me the T numbers, those techniques that went along with that one that was not prevented. Let me drill into that a little bit more and find out more about that data. Show me more about the techniques that were not prevented here and the sub-techniques as we can. I can do the same thing for my detection status, what was detected or not. So what we also have is we have an integration manager, and what that's doing is it's making active queries into your security stack. Look at your SIM, look at your EDR, look at your firewall. Do you have evidence of the attacks that we just ran? And that's what these detection indicators are coming from. Show me what I stopped, what I saw, what I didn't stop, what I didn't see. So let's take that a step further and say, well, okay, my privilege escalation that I didn't stop, I might have also detected it. I want to look at this from an even worse perspective. What did I not stop and not see? So I'm drilling even further into the data, right into my use case. So it's easy for me to drill right into the data and find the exact T numbers, the exact scenarios that I apparently have the biggest problems with. So that's one way that I could drill right into the data, and then taking a look at that, I know immediately what are my biggest problems just by doing that. Now I could pull this back even further, and I can take a look at a different way of analyzing the data, not only using MITRE ATT&CK, I can use other metrics as well. And in addition to the 5 dashboards, we give you control to be able to make your own visuals, make your own dashboards. I'll show you one that I've created, and I've been working on this one for a little while to help out not only me, is that I said I'm also a data guy, I like looking at it and making conclusions, but also showing this to my customers and being able to help them in the field to be able to understand the data that they're getting back from the platform even more efficiently. So this is what I call my applied filter analysis. In my case, I'm looking specifically for only the assessments with my name on them, because those assessments are all customizable and I can name them however I want. So I'm just looking for mine. I can take a look at all of the assessments that I've run over a given period of time. I'm looking again for the last quarter. And how many times have I run any given assessment over that time frame? I can take a look for specific assets that I have inside of my environment. If I only want to focus on one or two in particular, let's just say I want to focus on this guy right here, as soon as I moused over him, I get this little plus button right here. Very easy for me to add a filter, just like I was doing before with the MITRE ATT&CK stuff. Now what I want to see is show me where I may have a detection gap, or I may have a logging pipeline breakdown. Show me what I'm able to stop, but I can't see. I prevented it, but I didn't detect it. Right over here, this is another use of that heat map that Shravan was mentioning before. I can use this for a couple of different things. This is one where I can see the combination of, in my case, prevented, so I stopped it, but I didn't detect it, I didn't see it. And I can click on this just once and apply those filters to this. And now what I have is again, the asset that's here, how many of those scenarios match that exact outcome where I stopped it, but I didn't see it. What assessments was I running? Which of those projects was I running? You can also map this to the MITRE ATT&CK framework, so how many of these scenarios match up with the different tactics. What scenario names in particular were the ones that were bubbling up to the top, which I also find to be very interesting. So for instance, this privilege escalation, why does this continue to be a trend here? This bypass UAC scenario was the one that I can stop the most, but I can't see it for some reason. And how are my controls performing for these? In this case, I would expect, especially for this bypass UAC, I'd probably be looking at my endpoint security controls, my Falcon, my Sentinel-1. Why is this stuff happening here? Shravan did mention it before. I'll mention it again. This is a demo environment, so the data is real, but please do not take this as an indication of a particular control's performance. We do things in certain ways to make sure that we can get the data that we're looking for. So that's why those names just kind of sit there like that. So this is now showing me all of the different things that are happening on this host that I may be concerned about. So really interesting and a quick way to be able to dive into that data regardless of the assessment. I didn't need to dive into the individual assessments to find this data. All of it was right here and easy for me to gather. I can also create and see the trends over time. So this is another thing I was mentioning before, that yes, I can now recreate. There is a histogram that goes along with all of the assessments that we had individually to show you how much stuff are you running over time. And Shravan did mention this before, how much are we using the platform here? And that's what's represented by this, this line with a shade underneath of it, is how much are we running? How much of it is a combined result where we stopped it or saw it, prevented or detected? How much of it did I stop, my yellow line, and how much of it did I see, my kind of bluish grayish line here? So showing me over time, am I running things at all? And are we stopping and seeing the things that we're running? I have a better version of this as well that I'll show you in just a minute. Other ways of visualizing data, again, using the heat maps. So looking at how often we're running scenarios with these different assets that we have and what's not being prevented. Apparently this is a pretty bad week for 10-5 and 10-4. And we also had a pretty bad week over here for 10-1 and 10-2. So show me what happened with those. I can drill into those, take a look at those timeframes and see exactly what occurred. Seeing my MITRE heat map over time for what was not prevented, not detected. What are the T numbers and the tactics that I should be the most concerned about over the last 3 months, given all of the scenarios that we've run. And even I can take a look at those threat groups and how often are we stopping or not stopping based on the scenarios that we've run, all of the things that we've done, the top 10 threat groups that are tagged with the actions that we're taking here. What this helps me understand is, am I testing enough for the threat groups that matter the most to me? So if, for instance, I wanted to see more out of, like, say, APT 34, maybe I'm only testing for like 10% of the amount of scenarios that I'm running, but oil rig, I have 14%, but maybe that one doesn't matter to me as much or to my industry. Why am I testing for this one so much, but not necessarily as much for this threat group or any other threat group that may be of concern to me? It's another way of identifying trends. There are other things that we can do with this as well. So I can take this applied filter analysis and I can apply this to other parts of the platform. The attack graphs. If you've ever heard of our attack graphs before, what we do is we visualize an attack from start to finish using logic between those scenarios. So instead of just running scenarios right down the line, what we do is we make decisions. And then if maybe one scenario doesn't work, we try a different one for the same type of tactic or technique, just like an attacker would, just like a piece of malware would. But now we can add another layer of visualization to those attack graphs, which is what we've created here. I make it very easy just to select the attack graph that you're looking for, the different type of campaign that you may be looking at here, and what asset you ran this on. You can also provide instructions for all of these. That this is just like regular Kibana. You can create notes in here. You can create whatever you need to be able to explain what it is that you're looking at to the end user. How many times, or rather, what was the last time that we ran this? So you can see when was the date time that we ran this. I can see the outcome in a table here. So I can see for every step along the chain here, because it's going right in order of the sequence of the attack, what was stopped, what was seen. And let's visualize that, because I can take those same scenarios here. So you can see it's starting with the getting that Riceta sample. In this case, we're looking at Riceta malware, Riceta ransomware rather. And let's see if we can get that sample in past the network control, past the endpoint control. And then what the x-axis is telling us is what was the outcome of that scenario. Was it not prevented but detected, not prevented, not detected at all, or was it prevented and detected? How far did we get through the sequence of the attack here is what this is indicating to us. How well did our controls perform over the course of the execution of that, over the scenarios that were there. And again, taking another look at our heat maps and seeing how well we performed. But this is another good way of being able to, and I can take this at any time, share the results of these either in a PDF or a PNG and take a look at that, pop it into a presentation, and then give that over to whoever needs to be able to see it. It's another good way of visualizing the data. I can even take this into, there's another part of the platform that we have called boundary posture management. One of the biggest feature sets that we have for that is the use of packet capture replays, where you can take packet captures and run them between two different assets that you have. And one of them could be an asset that we host in our environment. We call that a hosted agent. Let's take a look at that data right here inside of the context of this. I have another few nice little visuals that I've created for this. This prevention detection, these two little gauges right here. I made this for another dashboard that I'll show you in a minute that really pulls everything way, way back. So you can see a nice trends and dashboards over time. But this one is mostly focused on the packet capture replays. Again, my prevention detection heat map is a quick and easy way to pick and select what I'm able to understand based off of the outputs and the outcomes rather. I can also, with the heat map, do something different, and I can create a path based off of the information there. So the y-axis in this case is representing my attacker IP address, and the x-axis is representing my my target IP address. So if I want to see everything that happened between, say, this 35.92 address and this 172.16.19.152 address, all I need to do is click on this little button right here, and I can now filter all of my data around what happened between these two endpoints where this was the attacker. I can see, again, what was my prevention detection stack very quickly and easily. What assessment did I run between those assets? What were the PCAPs that were run between these? Because this can run, it can run malicious downloads, it can run C2 traffic, it can run really any kind of web traffic or rather network traffic that you want can run through those two assets. And of course, how did my controls perform with this? My Palo Alto is doing pretty well in finding the detections of the malicious traffic that we're trying to run here. So that's another way of diving into the use cases that we have for this. Now, let's take this back because we're looking at a lot of really good analyst level data, especially, but let's pull this back a little bit and show you how we can create some more visuals that you might want to bring up to senior management. And this one will do a bit of monthly baseline testing. What we can do with this is, and yeah, there's my gas gauges again, will show me how well are we performing overall. And then I have other widgets here that will show me, for instance, again, my top 10 threat groups that are being measured. And I'm looking here at the last 30 days. And my goal here is to do kind of a month-over-month set of testing. What happened in the last 30 days and then what happened in the last 60 to 30 days. What is my current month control performance? So for all of the controls that I have here, how much am I detecting versus not off of the scenarios where we should be detecting things? I can take a look at my current month, map back to MITRE ATT&CK, my prevent and detect stacks. So how well am I doing with all of these and putting all the numbers right on the graph so we can see that immediately and be able to understand how well we're performing against insert name of tactic here. I can also see, yeah, where's my, I should see my prior months as well. So yeah, there's my prior month's detect stack. So showing you progress over time is the goal here for the widgets that we're creating, the visuals that we're creating, and all of the data that's there. So it's very easy for you to be able to pull that information out. I'm going to show you another one where we pulled back the data. This is again talking about what Shravan was saying before, that yes, you can pull back trends over time. This one was another riff on that histogram for individual assessments where we can take a look. In this case, my customer wanted to go back about 6 months, and I went back even further than that, and show you, again, this tan line here is the total scenarios run. How much are we using the platform? The green line is what's the combined outcome? What are we stopping or seeing, preventing or detecting? My yellow line is what am I stopping? My bluish line here is what I'm detecting. So what I want to see is as this beige line goes up, then I should see a lot more of this green line and blue line and yellow line. What I'm seeing here is that the beige line is climbing up really, really quickly, but the green line is not climbing up as fast as the beige line. So I'm seeing a problem here where I'm testing a lot more, and apparently I have a lot more results to go over where we're not stopping or seeing things here. Even here, the line continues to climb, and this line actually starts to decline a little bit. So again, I would want to take a look. Was there some type of policy change that was made? Were there more assets added? Was there another business unit added? What was the cause of this decline as opposed to this line continuing to go up or even stay stagnant with the amount of testing that we're doing? So showing you all of those outcomes over time is tremendous. And just to show you very quickly, because I did want to demonstrate that, yes, you can create your own as well. I'm going to create one visualization right here for you. And what I'll do is I'll just quickly edit one of these dashboards here and create a visualization. I'm going to make a riff on one of the ones that we were just looking at, that top 10 threat groups, right? What I want to understand in this case is show me my top 10 threat groups that I know I'm not preventing, and show me their detection status. Do I have the visualization for that the detections, the logging with my security control stack. Let's see that. So I'm in the visualization creation section here. I have a number of different visuals that I can make. In my case, I want to go back to that tree map and make another one that looks like that. So let's take a look at that tree map one. And it's now going to show me the different areas where it needs information. My metric is going to be records. My records is the amount of scenarios that I've run. I just easily click and drag that right over there. Great, count of records, no problem. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to add a group by over here so we can sort of break down the information that's up here, this visual that's up here. So I'll take a look for, my threat group keyword is going to be in the field that I want. I'll click and drag that right over there, that group by. I can add another field in here. And what I want to do is I want to see my detection status for that. So I'll remove that, that search and I'll add in another search here for detection outcome. There we go. And let's add that into another field right down here. And there's my detected and not detected. Great. I'm going to change this around a little bit because instead of top 5, went a little fast there. I'm gonna just click on the value here. Yeah, there we go. And I want 10 instead of 5. Let's go with 10. It does also give me the ability to go with other, but again, I don't want other. I just want my top 10. So I can expand this advanced section just a little bit right here and remove that other. There we go. Now we're at that nice even 10 again. I can do something else in here as well, because I remember I said I only wanted to see the ones that were not prevented. And the way I do that is I can add a filter right up here. I can do it this way. I can do it this way as well, where I just add in a filter right over here and I go with my prevention outcome. There we go. And that I want it to not be a specific, I want it to be a specific field value here. And I want it to be not prevented. That's the one I wanted. I add that filter. And now everything focuses directly on that. So that's what I've done here is I've now created a visual that goes right into, okay, show me my top 10 threat groups where I haven't stopped something. And then I also want to see whether or not I'm able to detect all of that happening as well. So that's a great way of being able to show you how you can easily customize the data, play with the data, use it to pull together different types of data to create conclusions based off of what it is that you're seeing. So that's me going really deep into things that you can do with it, pulling it back out, as well as showing you that, yes, you have the power of customization right here in the platform. I'm not seeing any questions in chat yet. You're not seeing anything there, Nick, Shravan, you guys aren't seeing anything yet. I'm gonna just shift back over to my slides here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, no problem. So let's go back over to my current slide here and go back over to where I just was. There we go. All right, so we're going to take a bit of a look ahead and a bit of a summary here for what it was that we were just doing. So the idea here is we want to continue investing in the visualizations, in the dashboarding, whether it's directly right there in Kibana, more stuff in platform as well, to be able to give you an even better handle on that data. And that goes right along with those quality of life improvements as well. Continue to maintain and add new dashboard capabilities, viewing more different types of data in more ways, adding more fields as we need to. Shravan will tell you, I keep coming to him with more fields to add based off of use cases that either I think of or they come directly from our customers. This continues to give you a broad and drillable view of your AttackIQ data that happens, just like we were saying, stuff's coming in as fast as you can put it in there. We will continue listening to your feedback as many of these use cases come directly from you. Some of the best conversations I have is when we're going through the data, I show the reporting and somebody turns to me and says, well, why can't I view it this way? Or why can't I have this type of answer from the data? And I go back and investigate, and Shravan and I go and take a look and see what we can do with this data. So a big thank you to you as well for all of the questions that you have and different ways of being able to look at it, because that's what's feeding many of the use cases that we're able to and happy to provide. So that concludes the main portion of the talk here today. What I want to do is also give you some resources and other things that you can take a look at. I did mention quite a few of the different types of use cases that we have. Raycito is one of them, and we have a number of different types of ransomware and threat actor group emulations and insights that we have that are coming directly from our adversary research team. This is a trained group of experts, malware reverse engineers, software engineers, incident responders, logging experts, security intelligence experts, all people that you want looking at all of the information, open and closed source, to be able to provide you with not only a lot of this content that you see here in platform, but you can take a look at our website, take a look at our blog, take a look at our research, and we provide lots of that information to you right there at attackiq.com/research. And it's a great resource of information for you that we provide back to the community. Another thing that we provide back to the community is our AttackIQ Academy. Something else I would greatly encourage you to go and take a look at, sign up for. It is completely free. We provide this as a service to the information security community at large, and we do not charge for it. It is free, high-quality, instructor-led training on a series of different learning tracks, many different courses, tens of thousands of students worldwide. This can count for CPE credits for your certifications as well. So all benefits to you, all great things that we provide back to the community and are happy to continue to do so. We have a number of different white papers, books, things that you can take a look at, podcasts. You can see if you take a look at our YouTube channel, this video will be up there soon, as well as our other demos, webinars, things that we've done. All of that is there for you to take advantage of. Please review that. Please take a look at that. And of course, please let us know what questions you have, whether it's for Shravan or myself or any of the other topics that you may see. We are here for the information security community, and we are happy to not only provide our services, but also to give back. With that, are there any additional questions, anything I might have missed? Shravan, anything else from you that you'd like to say before we go?
No, I think you covered it all, Joe. Thank you. And thank you to all the participants for attending this webinar.
Yeah, and just chiming in here, I dropped the link to our AttackIQ Academy that Joe referenced down in the chat. Easy to register, and I can tell you from my own experience that they are fantastic courses. So definitely a great tool to be able to utilize and get CPE credits for.
Absolutely, thanks for that, guys. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Anything else pops up, please feel free to watch the replay. If you grab their email addresses, please feel free to reach out. We're all here for you. We are happy that you were able to join us here today. And everybody really have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for your time.